Philip Rusty Rastelli, January 31, 1918, June 24, 1991, was an American mobster and former boss of the Bonanno crime family, though he spent all but 2 years of his reign in prison. Biography: Rastelli was born and raised in Mafia, Queens. He had 3 brothers, Carmen, Marinello, and Augustus, and 2 sisters, Justina DeVita and Antoinette Briganti. Rastelli was heavily involved in loan sharking, extortion and drug trafficking activities before joining the Bonanno crime family. Rastelli also had a lunch wagon business. After moving to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, where he lived until his incarceration, he met and became close friends with Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano, Carmine Galante, Joseph Bonanno and Joseph Mazzino. On December 3, 1953, Rastelli and an associate allegedly shot Michael Russo in Queens. However, Russo survived the shooting and Rastelli, fearing identification, went into hiding. Over the next year, Rastelli's wife Connie repeatedly approached Russo's wife Rose with an offer of $5,000 if her husband did not identify Rastelli. Rose refused the bribe each time. In early December 1954, Russo was shot again and killed in Brooklyn. On December 13, 1954, Connie Rastelli was indicted on charges of attempting to bribe a witness. No one was ever charged in the Russo murder. Connie was believed to have been killed in 1962 after she became an informant. Her body was never found. In 1969, in an attempt to restore order to the Bonanno family, the commission appointed a 3-man panel to run the family. This panel included Rastelli, Joseph DeFilippi, and Natalie Joe Diamonds Evola. Boss of the Bonanno family. On July 21, 1971, Rastelli was indicted in Riverhead, New York on loan sharking charges. The loan sharking ring, centered in Babylon, New York and Islip, New York, charged victims from 250 to 300% interest annually and generated over $1 million per year in revenue for the Bonanno family. On December 28, 1972, Rastelli was convicted in state court on 7 counts of loan sharking. On August 28, 1973, Bonanno boss Evola died of cancer. On February 23, 1974, at a meeting at the Americana Hotel in Manhattan, the commission named Rastelli as boss. He was the first member of the Queens faction to lead the family. The previous bosses had all come from the family's birthplace in Brooklyn. Although Rastelli was endorsed by the commission, the real power in the family soon migrated to rival Carmine Galante, who was released from prison at the same time. First prison term. On March 6, 1975, Rastelli was indicted on racketeering charges involving extortion. 9 years earlier, Rastelli had established a trade association of lunch wagon operators and taken control of the industry. Any operator who refused to join the association and pay its stiff fees faced vandalism and physical assault. On April 23, 1976, Rastelli was convicted of extortion in United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York. On August 27, 1976, Rastelli was sentenced to 10 years in prison, served consecutively to a 4-year state sentence for conspiracy, criminal contempt of court, and usury. He was imprisoned in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Rastelli's main contacts to the Bonanno family were mobsters Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano and Joseph Mazzino. In Rastelli's absence, Galante seized control of the Bonannos as unofficial acting boss. The New York crime families were alarmed at Galante's brazen attempt at taking over the narcotics market. Genovese crime family boss Frank Thierry began contacting Cosa Nostra leaders to build a consensus for Galante's murder, even obtaining approval from the retired Joseph Bonanno. In 1979, they received a boost when Rastelli and Joseph Mazzino sought commissioned approval to kill Galante. The request was approved. Napolitano was later promoted to caporegime, as well as gunman Anthony Indelicato. Rastelli was now the undisputed boss, controlling things from behind bars through the use of acting bosses such as longtime Bonanno mobster Salvatore, Sally Fruits Ferrugia. While Rastelli was in prison, Mazzino began jockeying for power with Dominic, Sonny Black Napolitano, another Rastelli loyalist capo. Both men were themselves threatened by another faction seeking to depose the absentee boss led by capos Alphonse, Sonny Red and Delicato, Dominic, Big Trincera and Philip Giacconi. The commission initially tried to maintain neutrality, but in 1981, Mazzino got word from his informants that the three capos were stocking up on automatic weapons and planning to kill the Rastelli loyalists within the Bonanno family to take complete control. On May 5, 1981, the three capos were murdered. On April 21, 1983, Rastelli was released from prison, and he and Mazzino ordered the murder of Bonanno soldier Cesare Bonventuri. Still a fugitive, Mazzino summoned Salvatore Vitali, Louis Atanasio and James Tartaglione to his hideout and gave them the order. By this time, even though Rastelli was still officially head of the family, Mazzino was considered by most mobsters to be the family's street boss and field commander in all but name, as well as Rastelli's heir apparent. Second prison term. Rastelli was arrested on a parole violation on August 16, 1984, due to associating with persons engaged in criminal activity. In 1985, Rastelli was indicted along with other Cosa Nostra leaders in the famous Mafia Commission trial. Getting kicked off the Mafia Commission because of the Donny Brasco infiltration actually prevented the Bonanno family from getting caught up in the Commission trial, which sentenced many Mafia bosses and members to prison. However, when Rastelli was indicted on separate labor racketeering charges, prosecutors decided to remove him from the Commission trial. Having previously lost their seat on the commission, the Bonannos suffered less exposure than the other families in this case. On October 14, 1986, Rastelli was convicted on 24 counts of labor racketeering. On January 16, 1987, Rastelli was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Death on June 4, 1991. Rastelli was given a compassionate release from the Federal Medical Center, FMC, in Springfield, Missouri. On June 24, 1991, Rastelli died at Booth Memorial Hospital, now New York Presbyterian Queens, in Flushing, Queens from liver cancer at age 73. He is buried in St. John Cemetery in Middle Village, Queens. Mazzino took over as boss of the Bonanno family after Rastelli's death. Notes: Contract Killer. The explosive story of the Mafia's most notorious hitman, Donald "Tony the Greek" Francos, by William Hoffman and Lake Hadley DeStefano, Anthony. The Last Godfather. Joey Mazzino and the Fall of the Bonanno Crime Family. California, Citadel, 2006. Pistone, Joseph D. and Woodley, Richard, 1999. Donny Brasco, My Undercover Life in the Mafia, Hodder and Stoughton. ISBN 0-340-66637-4. References. External links. Mafia Who's Who.